Hey everybody, it's Jessica DeMassa with WTF Health. What's the future of health? I am talking to the who's who of health tech and healthcare innovation. And today we're doing something a little bit different. We are kicking off a 4-part interview series where we are talking to the who's who are on their way to becoming the who's who. Thanks to Bayer G4A's program, we are going to meet the 4 startups out of 200 that were selected to be part of their Growth Track Accelerator program. And so please meet one of those companies right now. We've got their CEO, Filip Peters. He is the CEO of Acorai, and they are disrupting the way that we manage heart failure. So Filip, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so you guys are a med device company, which is very interesting, early stage. So show us your device and tell us how it works. I mean, what you guys are doing is using a different and completely novel way of measuring pressure inside the heart, completely non-invasive. So let's see the device. Let's hear it.
You got it. So this is what the device looks like.
Okay.
It's a completely new combination of 4 different sensor technologies, and then we then analyze that data with our AI models. As a heart failure patient, you would simply place the device on your chest for a few minutes every morning, and then within a few seconds, both you and your cardiologist would receive information about your heart's health, and your cardiologist can help you manage your condition by adjusting your medication and other risk factors associated with your disease.
Okay, so this is like a case that you put around your smartphone. That's what it looked like there? Is that right?
It is sort of. So it's an extended smartphone case, we could say.
Okay.
And you simply just slot your smartphone into it, and then you're good to go.
Okay. And tell us about the different sensor technologies that you're using, because I understand from chatting with you earlier that this is completely unique to the way that cardiologists are currently treating heart failure. So talk through the medical science behind this.
So the most important part of what we do is, as you alluded to earlier, is that we are able to measure the blood pressure inside the heart. So the intracardiac pressure. And the way that's done today is essentially by implanting a sensor into the heart and then measuring it that way. So we have figured out a way to combine 4 different types of sensor technologies. So we're talking visual technologies, we're talking seismic technologies, we're talking acoustic technologies, as well as electrocardiographic. And then we've combined that in a unique hardware architecture. And then obviously the analysis of that data with the AI models that we have built in-house. And what that enables us to do is to measure the blood pressure, right? And the blood pressure inside the heart is a very early indication of impending heart failure. So we can detect these impending heart failure hospitalizations by almost 30 days before they would actually happen.
Okay, wow, 30 days. And that's a significant amount of time. So, all right, talk to me about the status quo for this, because I'm not entirely familiar with the treatment protocol. And I would imagine a lot of my viewers might not be either. What the current treatment standard is for somebody who's experiencing heart failure, especially when they've been sent home from the hospital, they're just responsible for monitoring their condition on their own. So put into context for us how big of a deal it is, number one, that what you've designed there is non-invasive, and number 2, that it's able to detect potential complications a full 30 days in advance from what we're currently able to do.
Yeah, I mean, heart failure is a massive problem today, right? There's around 60 million heart failure patients globally, and around half of those will be rehospitalized within the next 6 months. And the reason that they will be rehospitalized is that the physical indications that we use today, which is typically shortness of breath or increased weight, are just a few days before an impending hospitalization event. And by definition, that stage is too late to adjust medication in such a way that you could actually help avoid these rehospitalizations.
Okay, and say a little bit more than about the non-invasive side of this. So like currently, like what is somebody who is sent home like left to do to manage their own symptoms so that they make sure that they are taking care of themselves? Like, even talk to me about really how disruptive this is, that it's like, it's a quick little hold it up and you're getting a reading every single day and able to monitor and track, what's going on in your body in real time.
Yeah, I mean, it will help a lot of patients out there. Today, if you're lucky enough, you can get one of the implantable pressure monitoring sensors. but even then, it's only a certain type of heart failure patients that are eligible for this. And by definition, we don't typically like to put stuff into our body if we don't have to. And really, that's where we come in. We are making the act of measuring intracardiac pressure both non-invasive, but we're also making it cost efficient so that we can essentially reach out to all heart failure patients in the world and make this a solution for them.
That's incredible. All right, I want to hear about the data side of this. So you told me you're an AI guy, and so I want to hear you've adapted your AI expertise and all the data that's out there with sensor technology, and you've come up with this focused on disrupting the way we manage heart failure. So I mean, tell me about the data, and I'd like to hear you talk about the opportunity both at the personalization level, so like how this improves the ability for cardiologist and their patient to personalize care. And then also, if you can kind of zoom out for us a little bit and tell us, what does this mean from a population? So like if you're a health system and you've got an entire, cardiology team that's taking care of an entire group of patients, what kinds of things can you learn from the body of data that you're collecting if you look at it, in mass?
Yeah, I mean, we love data, right? And that's what we're all about. And we have come from a very AI focused background. And for us, it's just new data for us to analyze. It doesn't matter whether it comes from finance or whether it comes from a person's heart. It's still something that's there for us to be analyzed. In terms of how this can benefit society and hospitals, it is really about keeping the patients out of the hospital and the benefits that come from that, both from a reduction in overuse of hospital resources, but also, something that's super important today is just keeping these high vulnerability patients out of the hospital so that they're not infected by other diseases such as COVID, and just making these patients' lives easier and more flexible.
I would imagine too, there's some benefit to like the field of cardiology. If you have all of this data that no one has ever collected before, and you're able to look at, all of it, in a mass, I'm sure you're going to find some surprises as far as, how we are treating our heart. You're learning a lot of things about our heart because you're tracking it constantly.
Yeah, and I think that's where this partnership with Bayer, will come in as well. It's that it does enable cardiologists to much more granularly be able to adjust heart failure medications for these patients, and also try new types of heart failure medicines for patients. It's more of an art form than a science, managing these types of patients, and having this tool, and this data stream each day from these patients will allow cardiologists to manage their patients in a much, much better way.
All right, so tell me where Acorai is as a business. Like, I mean, we saw the device on your phone there. So where are you guys at in terms of getting your device kind of manufactured and built, or getting it tested? Like, give us a sense of how early stage are you?
Yeah, I mean, early stage in this industry means you've still been around for a few years, right? So
yeah.
we are just finishing our first 2 years, which it has been the research and development phase of this company, and building up our patents and IP portfolio alongside that. And we are just about to enter the clinical and regulatory phase. So we will be starting a primary clinical investigation next month, actually, with 2 of the world's leading cardiology departments here in Sweden. And that study will be about looking at around 700 patients who will be undergoing a right heart catheterization, which will then be used as the gold standard to compare the accuracy of our device with that of clinical practice today.
I love it. I love seeing early stage startups, especially those in the med device space, because it just gives me, it gives me chills in the sense that it's like, this is what the future is going to be. This is going to be so much better than what we're doing right now. I love it. Well, keep on with the good work. This is a really incredible innovation, and we look forward to seeing your business and your device kind of grow and transform as it starts to, be used in these new trials and your data gets validated. And yeah, you bring it to market eventually. Can't wait for that. You'll have to come back. Well, Philip, thank you so much for joining us. For more interviews with the startups that have been selected with for Bayer's digital health growth track program, which is their accelerator program, check out my YouTube channel over at youtube.com/WTF Health. It never hurts to find out what Bayer is interested. I mean, big life sciences company, what do they have their eye on in terms of the future of care? Never a bad idea to see, including the innovations that are coming out of this company right here, Acorai. Filip Peters, thank you so much again for joining us. I'm Jessica DeMassa. We'll talk to you guys soon.